WASB, providing opportunities for scholastic and sports excellence. Now, here's your host, Tom Dirato.
Well, hello again, everyone, and welcome to the Eddie Sutton Show. The regular season now is in the books, so to speak. March Madness is underway in full swing. 21-5 overall, 11-5 in Big 12 play, and Southern Division champions. It's been a great ride thus far.
It's been a great season, and it would have been even nicer last Sunday if we could have upset the University of Kansas. And in some areas, we played well enough to beat them. We lost the game 71-67, but it was our inability to hit and finish really some easy shots. I think we missed 8 shots right underneath the basket, and then our shot selection at time wasn't what it should be, and as a result, we shot 37%. And you can't shoot that low a percentage against a great ball club like the Jayhawks.
You know, in a lot of ways, you'd like to say, hey, this has been a great season. Let's just kind of bring it to a halt right here. A lot was accomplished. But as we said last week, the real season is here. It all begins this weekend in Kansas City.
Well, every college basketball team works through the months of November, December, January, and February in hopes that they're in a position where they can do well in their conference tournament and then get a bid to the NCAA. I really believe we've got a bid to the NCAA regardless of what happens in Kansas City, but you'd like to win some games up there to help your seeding in the NCAA. That's so important. But every coach that's going into the Big 12 tournament this week, they're telling their squads, records mean nothing. Everybody's 0-0, and there's going to be some great games up in Kansas City because there are so many teams that are evenly matched, and we'll not play till Friday night. We'll play the winner of the University of Texas and Texas Tech. They play Thursday evening, and we'll take them on Friday night. So we'll get a day's rest, and sometimes that's good and sometimes it's not. Some guys, I was talking to Billy Tubbs the other day, and he said, I'd rather play that first day and get the jitters out. I told him, I said, I disagree. I'd rather rest and get ready to play them in the second round.
Yeah, especially if you have title hopes in mind. You don't want to go 4 straight days. So that's one less day the Cowboys will have to play. Now, the division champions squared off this past weekend at Gallagher-Iba Arena. It was another great OSU-KU matchup. We have all the highlights when we return to the Eddie Sutton Show.
Hi, I'm Max Falkenstein, and I've been broadcasting Kansas Jayhawk games for over 50 years. And Eddie Sutton always tells me that he grew up listening to my broadcast of the games out in southwest Kansas. We kind of wished he would have come to KU. I think at one time he considered doing it, but he's done a fantastic job in his coaching career and one of my favorite guys. And so back to Tom and Eddie.
A wonderful man, and it is true. He's been broadcasting, like he said, 50 years, and he's seen all those great teams that the University of Kansas had. But I grew up near Dodge City, Kansas, Buckland, and I used to listen to the Jayhawks, and Max was broadcasting the games at that time. But he is one of the really quality guys in the broadcasting field. No
question. And Max, as long as he's been doing it, has never lost the excitement and the zeal for broadcasting KU basketball. He indeed is a good ambassador for KU. Now, speaking of KU, the 139th meeting in this series, well, it turned out to be just like all the others since you arrived, intense, hard-fought, and hotly contested.
You can see the students arrived early to get those good seats around the court, and the crowd was magnificent. You know, we've had some great crowds, and we've had some great games with Kansas. Even dating back when I was playing, Wilt Chamberlain was at the University of Kansas, and we had one of the great victories here in Gallagher-Iba, and we upset them when they were #1. And I was hopeful that we would do the same thing with Kansas on Sunday, but we just didn't shoot the ball well, and we got off to a bad start. They got us down 16-4, and some of our players seemed like they were nervous, and they shouldn't have been that way, but we got behind, and then we had to play catch-up, and when you have to play catch-up against a great ball club, it takes a lot out of you. But the thing that I was most proud of our ball club was the fact that in the second half, when they could have rolled over and you know, just said well, they're going to beat us, they didn't do that. They really competed and put ourselves in a position really to win the basketball game. And we let a good opportunity go by because I really felt like we were going to beat Kansas. I thought we'd really been playing well, but we didn't. And we came out of the game, and the only way you look at a defeat is what did we do well, what did we do wrong, let's correct the bad things. And one positive thing that came out of the game was the fact that Alex Weber played so well. we need him in postseason play if we're going to go very far.
You'll see Webb here in a little bit in doing exactly what you were talking about. But, you know, let's put it on the table coming into the game. It ended up you had to play most of the contest without Desmond Mason, and we'll get an injury update here in a second. But you, as a coaching staff, were very concerned about how long and how far Pete would go.
Well, Pete had a sprained ankle, and it was very sensitive, but he ended up playing a very good ball game and played most of the contest. But Desmond was injured. Pugh, their forward, happened. It was a freak accident. He kneed Desmond right in the hip, and it was serious enough that he really wasn't much help to us in the second half. In fact, I think he only played 2 or 3 minutes. And with him on the floor, it would have made a lot of difference because he's one of our best defenders. He's a very good rebounder, and he would have given us, you know, some more depth because Kansas has got so many soldiers. They just keep trotting them out there, and that's the way they beat a lot of ball clubs. They just wear them down.
You know, ironically, we got back in this game after falling behind by 12, 16-4 because of the three-point shot, but overall the shot selection was not what you wanted in this game. You could see at halftime down by 13.
I told the ball club at halftime, if we'll just tighten up our defense and not turn the ball over and concentrate on getting better shots. So you can't get a better shot than that, and Brett had a frustrating afternoon because he did miss 3 or 4 shots right underneath the hoop. Second half, we only turned it over 3 times. Our defense was much, much better. We rebounded with Kansas. But again, as you mentioned, some of our shots weren't what you were looking for. And Kansas defense will make you take some bad shots.
Yeah, and especially around the hoop, too. I mean, we've missed some shots all year long in close, but, you know, when you're looking for those guys coming from every direction, they don't give you an easy basket.
No, that's true, and they are truly one of the outstanding ball clubs we have in college basketball. Great defensive play by Joe Atkins. He read the pass, he jumped in the passing lane and went to the floor to lay it up.
That shot that Joe put in right there got it down to 6, and you
Look
could
at
feel
that
the
tip in
momentum.
by LaFrance. You know, LaFrance will probably be the player of the year in our conference, and in this ball game, we did a decent job on him. He only got 13 points, but he had, no, I take it back. He had 17 points and 14 rebounds,
boards,
and that's an All-American performance.
He had a couple of big
late in the
points
game when it really looked like we had a run going, he made a couple
Yep.
of big plays, and that's what big-time players are supposed to do.
Well, that's what you would expect, but it was, again, I think Roy said it after the game as well. This was something that he expected. It was going to be hard fought. He didn't think he was going to come in here and have a cakewalk.
Most people in our conference believe that Allen Fieldhouse at the University of Kansas and Gallagher-Iba are probably the 2 toughest places for a team to come in and win. And Kansas, as I mentioned earlier, we've had some terrific battles with them since I came back to Oklahoma State.
Going to be here a nice tip in. You got to see Webb doing some work here.
Very nice effort by Alex, and he got a putback.
This is what you envision. This is what you hope will happen. How about that
Craziest
shot?
play I've ever seen. We ran a spatial scoring play. The pass was made. It went through Brett's fingertips, hit him in the head, and bounces in the basket. Now, that will probably be nominated for the ESPY Awards next year.
But you practice that a lot, though. Don't
Well,
you?
that's what Brett told him after the game. He told the media, he said, well, we practice that every day.
You know, poor Brett, he said, as we see this long pass to Pete right here, poor Brett, he said that was the kind of day it was. I couldn't hit from 5 feet by myself, and I had one go off my noggin into the hoop. Cowboys hanging tough, though, Kansas now, and there's a block by Weber, so Weber active in the paint. Trying to close the gap.
Good,
the crowd never gave up on us. You
Great
mentioned
penetration by Gallagher-Iba, and he kicked the ball off to Pete. And we really believed at that point, you know, we had him on the run.
And here we go again, another action.
Great hustle play by Alex. And one of the things when that arrow is pointed your way, I told him, I said, now that ball goes on the floor, you get after it. You dive on the floor, you skin your knees up a little, and that's what Alex did. And we got back down there. Chad hits a 3-pointer. We're down 2 points. We don't get back, and they get a 2-on-1 on Brett and lay it up. Final score 71-67.
Well, what a ball game. And again, it went right down to the last 7 seconds, the 4th-ranked team in the country. And this program, you see Roy coming on. I don't know, what did you guys say? I mean, obviously he looked relieved, and I guess see you in Kansas City maybe?
Well, I have nothing but the greatest respect for Roy. I really believe they run such a quality program, and what I told him was, I hope you win the national title this year. He's deserving. He's had ball clubs the last few years that were capable of winning the national championship, and in order to win it, And I think our fans would agree, 3 years ago when we went to the Final Four, we beat 3 teams that were just as good as UCLA, the team that won the national title, in Alabama, Massachusetts, and Wake Forest. So you have to have some luck, and that's what I told Roy. I said, Roy, I'll be pulling for you to win a national title this year.
Oklahoma State's not a program that takes a whole lot of consolation out of losing. You guys, as a staff, as players, were disappointed that you didn't win, but you came out of this ball game with confidence still intact.
I don't think the loss hurt us from the standpoint other than we felt like we could have won, but we played a very good basketball team, a very tough ball game, and I really believe that our players did come out of the game with a lot of confidence getting ready for the Big 12 tourney.
Well, it was also senior day, and 3 very special young men were honored before the ball game. You're going to hear from these gentlemen when the Eddie Sutton Show returns in a moment. You know, over the year, the success a team has is usually directly tied to its leadership, or in this case, senior leadership. As we mentioned, this past weekend, Oklahoma State said goodbye to a very special senior class. You've come a long way at OSU in a real short period of time.
Yeah, definitely. It's hard to believe that it's over already. I can't believe it. It's been a quick 2.5 years, and just kind of sad to see it go. It was tough at first, but Coach did a good job, you know, letting me get used to the situation real easy, and he does a good job with that. And I think that Coach being so good at getting players to adjust to his situation helped out a lot, and he made it real easy for me.
NBA maybe down the line for Brett?
I don't know. Hopefully I'll get a chance. We'll see how it goes, and you know, I just want a chance to make it. And if I get a chance, I think that, you know, hopefully I can take advantage of it. But regardless of that, I'm going to try to play somewhere next year, whether it's in the NBA or overseas. So I'm definitely looking forward to that.
You have literally been to both the mountaintop and to the valley during your stay here in Stillwater.
Yeah, well, I've pretty much seen it all. You know, I started out with some great teams my first 2 or 3 years here, got up to the Final Four, and then we had some low times. We didn't make the tournament for a couple years, and now this year we're back on the right track and on our way to the big dance.
What memories outside of basketball will you take away from Stillwater?
Oh man, I've met some lifelong friends here, and you know, guys that have graduated, I've keep in touch with them. They live in Tulsa and in Oklahoma City and Texas, and I've just made a lot of good friends here. Of course, I've gotten married here. I've got all kinds of memories here, and you know, I'll never forget it. I'll always come back and to the, you know, basketball and football games, and OSU will always be a big part of my life.
What's the business future hold for Chad Alexander?
Well, I'm hoping to be in corporate finance with it. You know, get in with a good company. I'm hoping to get up near Kansas City or the Topeka area. And I've got my brother lobbying for me up there right now, and I'll have to get real serious about it after the season's over with interviewing and such. But you know, just hoping to get on with a good company and work hard. My older brother's got a team that plays exhibition games in the preseason against other teams, and also I think he's in 3 different leagues up there in Kansas City. So I'll be busy with basketball also.
My talent is not overwhelming, but I could have an opportunity to play somewhere else. But I think my experience here has been priceless, basketball and in school. You know, I think Oklahoma State is a great institution and has a lot to offer for itself.
You've been part of something special this season. It's nice for the seniors to rebuild this kind of legacy for those who follow.
My sophomore and junior year have been kind of down years, and this year we want to go out on top. And I think the senior class has worked extremely hard, and as well as the rest of the team, to get back on top.
You're a perfect example of what hard work can do, both on and off the court. Tell us about what might be on the business horizon for you.
Well, next year I've got a job with Arthur Anderson in Tulsa, and I'm real excited and real anxious to start that this summer. And hopefully down the road, I can look back at my college basketball career, and you know, see how important it was to me, and how it paved the road for me ahead.
It's always kind of a sad time when you put those uniforms on for the last time and you walk out there and your seniors realize that this is the last time we're going to play in Gallagher-Iba. And you know, many times we hear about all the negative things in intercollegiate athletics. Here are 3 shining stars. This is what student athletes, when you say that, this is what it's all about. All 3 of those guys are quality human beings. They've been great ambassadors for Oklahoma State University. They're all going to get their degrees this spring. And they've been great ambassadors for our basketball program. They'll be successful, and they'll do well in the real world, and we're going to miss them.
Well, as I said, our next stop is indeed Kansas City. We'll take a look at the Big 12 tournament after these messages. Don't go away.
Kansas City, here I come. I'm going to Kansas City. Kansas City, here I come.
Hi, welcome back to the Eddie Sutton Show from the control room. I'm Wade Pearson, director of the show. Now let's get you back out to the set with Eddie and Tom. Goodbye, 2.
Well, thanks, Wade. There he is. You got a good look at the guy who makes it all go right there. Okay, as we mentioned, or we should mention right now, is the fact that we had, because of the production schedule, we had to do this show prior to our departure to Kansas City. But again, some interesting first-round matchups nevertheless.
Well, in the first game Thursday afternoon, Colorado and K-State play, and Kansas will take on them on Friday at afternoon. Texas A&M and Baylor play. Nebraska will host them Friday afternoon. Texas and Texas Tech, the team will play the winner at 6 o'clock Friday evening. And Iowa State and Missouri play the last game the first day, and the winner of that game will play the University of Oklahoma in the last game Friday night. So there's going to be some great basketball, Tom. You know, the fans that have the tickets to get up there, it's always really a festive atmosphere. It's like a bowl game in football, and the balance is such that it's hard to tell who is going to win some of those games.
Some of the Cowboys were given some deserving honors this past week as far as all conferences are concerned.
Well, we were very pleased that Des Mason and Doug Gottlieb got honorable mention, but Brett Robisch and Adrian Peterson made second-team all-conference, and well-deserved.
You know, there'll be more awards coming out at the very end as well, but this has been a team. We've talked about that all year long, and that's one of the reasons we're where we are right now, is the fact that while we have all conference kind of players, they have really meshed pretty well as a unit.
I think they all realize that basketball is a team game, and they all understand their roles, and they certainly are not selfish. They would make sacrifices in order for us to win, and that's what they've done.
I know one thing that you look forward to. We're really jumping ahead here because we have the NCAA tournament ahead as well. But summer camps, this is something that you can't really plan too early because you get a lot of people, a lot of kids that are interested in your summer camp. So tell us about that.
One of my favorite times of the year because there's certainly not any pressure to win. There's a great shot of Sean Sutton, who is he runs the basketball camps. But to work with youngsters because of the enthusiasm, and they're so eager to learn, and we just have a lot of fun. I started basketball camps back in 1959 when I was at Tulsa Central, but anyone that's interested can call our office. We have a day camp June 8th through the 11th, and then our individual camp where the campers stay overnight June 14th through the 18th, and all of our players are going to be there working camp. And so for young people, it can be a wonderful few days and not only learn basketball, but to have the opportunity to meet some of the Cowboys. And I've never known a camper that went to a basketball camp that didn't walk away with something that benefited him.
And they get after it too. There's a little intensity involved when they start those teams going at each other in the afternoon, and the coaches really get into it. We have some future budding coaches come out of these summer camps, I think.
Well, we've got a lot of the young high school coaches around this region that come in and assist us. So we do have a lot of fun, and I think the campers have a marvelous experience by coming to our camp. So anyone that's interested, they need to call our office because the camp is filling up.
You know, we mentioned the fact that this is pre-tape, but the Cowboys open against either Texas Tech or Texas, but 3 games in less than 48 hours if you want to win the title, if you want to get to the championship game. That's tough on a team.
That's the only way you're guaranteed you're going to get in the NCAA field, is to win the tournament, because you represent the Big 12. And then, of course, if we don't make it, I think we're going to get an at-large bid. and everybody will be watching Sunday afternoon when the selection committee names the at-large teams and where you're going to play.
Well, hopefully, when we visit with you next week, we'll be talking about the Cowboys winning a Big 12 title. We certainly will be telling you where the Cowboys are going as far as the NCAA postseason tournament is concerned. We thank you for being with us this week. For Eddie Sutton, our entire crew here at Educational Television Services, Tom Dirato. Goodbye, everybody.